Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Andy, I'm playing a brew that he made called Raccoon Typhoon. The Raccoon is Bramble Familiar from Wildsville Drain. 1 in a green, 2/2, tap, add a green. 1 in a black, discard a card, return this to your hand. And then it has a 7-mana adventure called Fetch Quest. Mill 7 cards, put a creature, enchantment, or land from among the milled cards onto the battlefield. That's an insanely powerful effect, and it is in the deck specifically to put Omniscience into play. Omniscience is one of those cards that ever since it existed, Magic players were trying to break it. And generally all you need to do to break it is put it into play somehow. It is a 10-mana spell. Getting it into play is not easy. But Bramble Familiar's Fetch Quest gets it there. Then once it's there, we have a bunch of infinite loops in the deck where Fae of Wishes can get shared summons. Shared summons gets Hullbreaker Horror and Eternal Witness. And then as long as you have any spell to cast, Eternal Witness can come in and out of play infinite times. Because you play that spell, you bounce Witness, you witness that spell back to your hand, then you play that spell again, bounce Witness, all off Hullbreaker Horror. That means any cantrip in your graveyard, the Preordain or the Growth Spiral, draws your deck. The Growth Spiral puts all that lands from your hand into play, in case that matters. It shouldn't once we're going infinite. But at some point, we find a Shark Typhoon, then we start casting Omniscience over and over. You'll find a second copy. You could bounce it off casting Eternal Witness, off Hullbreaker Horror, get a 10-drop, or a 10/10 Shark, bounce the Witness, Witness back a cantrip, start the loop over again. Then eventually we could Fae of Wishes for Time Warp, and then just take an extra turn with our infinite 10/10s in play. Trivial to win once we have Omniscience. The trick is, of course, getting Omniscience into play. There are 5 functional copies. One with the Multiverse is a lot worse than Omniscience, but you can use one with the Multiverse to cast Omniscience. If this is what you spike off Bramble Familiar, and then you have an Omniscience in your hand or on top of your deck, that's still a way to go. If Bramble Familiar misses on one of the 5 Omnisciences, we still have 2 Hullbreaker Horrors, 2 Shark Typhoons that are pretty powerful permanents to put into play. We could even hit Eternal Witness and get the Bramble Familiar Fetch Quest back and try it again. And of course, it's modern. We're not trying to spend 7 mana on this effect. What we have here is Release to the Wind, exile target non-land permanent. For as long as it remains exiled, its owners may cast it without playing the mana cost. You play the 2-drop Raccoon, you exile it, and then the game sees the Raccoon in exile, and it has 2 things you can cast, including Fetch Quests. So you can do this on turn 3, if you'd like. Bring to Light also can get Bramble Familiar, but then cast Fetch Quest. Kind of an awkward way to do that. 5 mana to do that, but tutoring one out of your deck so you don't actually have to resolve the creature and then target it with Release the Wind and then play the thing. Like, that's disruptible on multiple fronts, including just spot removal, whereas Bring to Light just shoves it onto the stack. I do like a little redundancy there. I wish Bring to Light was better with Omniscience, but it's still a spell you could cast and get Hullbreaker Horror doing stuff, I guess. It's still a 5/5 with Shark Typhoon. Hopefully once we have the Omniscience, we're not worried about Bring to Light anymore. Funny enough, I actually had the brilliant idea to play 1 Hypergenesis, so you could Bring to Light for 0 if you needed to put an Omniscience from your hand into play. But then I remembered Hypergenesis is banned in this format. Bummer. I was excited. The big challenge this deck faces is Modern is fast, and it has good interaction. I've got Veil of Summers, Dress Downs, Brazen Borrowers to just try to buy enough space to go off, Growth Spiral, Ramps to get the combo happening faster. This deck is mostly just trying to send it, though. Curve out, Goldfish, do Omniscient stuff, wham bam, off we go. That's the plan. This is Andy's Raccoon Typhoon. Let's do it. I'm on the play for round 1. I'm going to keep this hand. It has some of the interaction. It has half my combo. It can ramp, see some more cards. Let's go. Just going to drop a Breeding Pool, tapped, and pass. There is 1 Watery Grave in the deck. I forgot to talk about it in the deck tech. With Bring to Light and Engineered Explosives in the list, I figured it was kind of free to turn one of the basics into a black tool. Expedition Map and Urza's Saga over there. If I draw the Fox, I can Goldfish on turn 3. Okay, this is interesting because Growth Spiral sees one card but could advance my game plan. Preordain sees more cards if I'm looking for specifically the Fox. I'm just going to Spiral now. If I hit a blue source, I can also Preordain. Okay, auto land drops. That's okay. Opponent's got a Boseiju, and they're passing. Okay. Now I have a Boseiju. That's a land drop if I need it. I'm going to Preordain. Dress Down and Veil of Summer. Dress Down's pretty interesting, actually. Definitely bottoming the Veil. Does Amulet play an Expedition Map? Because Dress Down's really good against Amulet. I will keep the Dress Down and play the Boseiju. It doesn't exactly move my plan forward, but against this Urza Saga strategy, Dress Down's probably going to be reasonable interaction, and it cantrips if they just don't do anything. Mycosynth Gardens was the tutor. Yeah, this is probably Amulet. If they play Gardens and try to copy Amulet here, the Brazen Borrower will be a huge blowout. They have a mana floating currently. It would be the nuts if they packed for Azusa here, and then I dress down the Azusa and they just die to their pact. That is a line that I've beaten Amulet with in the past. Arboreal Grazer, I am not going to dress that down. They got a Growth Chamber. Picked up a Boseiju. And they appear to be just passing the turn here. Alright, I'll go to my turn. That land was a nice hit. Continue to play the game. I can dress down and Brazen Borrow, both of which are relevant interaction. And once I get to 5 mana, I can combo all at once if I draw the Fox, or the Raccoon, sorry. That's the name of the deck, Raccoon Typhoon. Okay, Boseiju's back, and they're taking it slow over there. I'm going to fetch a Breeding Pool tapped while the getting's good. If I cycle Shark Typhoon right now, I do get to see an extra card, but they get a window to copy Amulet. I think that's fine. That's not really how I'm beating them. Through Eternal Witness. Bring to Light. Okay. I need a mana source. I can Eternal Witness, pick up Misty Rainforest. Yeah, that works. Witness, get Misty. Eternal Witness is a hell of a magic card, for those of you who have not had the joy of playing with it. Now I can't Brazen Borrow the Amulet if they copy it. I just have to dress down the Prime Time. And then I go to my turn, Bring to Light for the Raccoon, and hope to spike an Omniscience, because I have the win in my hand if I could get an Omniscience. They still didn't copy in the end step, still playing around it. Okay, this will give them 7 mana, or 6 mana. Counting is not my strong suit. Okay, they got 3 in the pool. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I'm not dressing down yet. Dressing down Dryad stops the second land drop, but it doesn't stop the 5 colors. Just throwing that out there. It's not relevant right now, but just making useful banter while we're waiting for the opponent to die to dress down. If they just don't try to Prime Time here, I will Brazen Borrow the Amulet in the end step. I just want to do anything that taxes their resources at all. If I bounce their Amulet and they copy Amulet in response, that's 2 lands that they don't have to try to mess with me. The thing their deck can reasonably do is just channel Boseiju in response to my first spell once I put in Omniscience. And with their extra land drop here, they could play that Growth Chamber in their hand, put Boseiju in their hand, and just hold up Boseiju. They don't know what I'm doing yet, though. I have the Brewer's advantage at the moment. Okay, I'm going to Petty Theft the Amulet and see if they make a copy, see if they tap out here. Okay, they are making a copy of Amulet in their end step, which taps them out for my turn. I'm going to get a shot at this. Come on, Omniscience. It's party time. Bring to Light for 2, which is all you need in this deck. Bramble Familiar. Fetch Quest. Show me the Omniscience. Oh yeah, you're so dead. Omniscience into play. Hullbreaker Horror. And we're just already going off. Eternal Witness. Bounce the other Eternal Witness. I could pick up Growth Spiral here, which will bounce Eternal Witness, and I can just put my whole deck into play, basically. I'm not sure if there is a correct sequencing to this. Basically just doing whatever I want at this point. I think I want the Shark Typhoon in play. Cast Shark Typhoon, bounce Eternal Witness, and then Eternal Witness. I can start bouncing their permanents now. Clear this. Amulet of Vigor. Pick up Omniscience. This is just going to make a 10-10 Shark. And yeah, we are super infinite. It's just how long they want to wait for me to show them a win condition. Growth Spiral, target Eternal Witness, put a Forest into play, Eternal Witness, bounce your Grazer, pick up Growth Spiral. I will bounce Eternal Witness. I was about to say you can decline, but I'm not ready to decline. I like what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to decline now. There's nothing worth bouncing. Get back, Growth Spiral. And this is the loop. I just have to Growth Spiral until I find a Fae of Wishes, and then I win. And I think I win anyway, but I have demonstrated that my whole deck is available to me. I could be using my Eternal Witness cast to bounce one of the 2 Omnisciences and making a 10-10 each round. I'm mostly just saving clicks right now. I will fetch some lands out of my deck, though. Just try to save some clicks in general. I guess Preordain will find the payoff faster, and that's all that matters right now. I guess Bramble Familiar is actually really fast here. If I'm just looking for a win con, fetch quest without paying its mana cost. Yeah, this is just more looks at Fae of Wishes faster. Okay, Fae of Wishes, I don't want it in play. Bramble Familiar in play, Eternal Witness gets the Fae of Wishes, and then we just Time Warp. And I can bounce the Bramble Familiar too, just for another 7-drop, another hit. The Fae of Wishes for Time Warp should get the scoop, though. A Granted with Omniscience, bounce the Witness, get the Time Warp. I will target me with Time Warp to take an extra turn. And there we go. They were just waiting for a win con. That was pretty sweet. We did the thing. Match 1, game 1. That's all I usually want to do. Against Amulet, I want Boseiju and my Subtleties in, for sure. Veil of Summer is not the interaction that matters in this matchup. I think Boseiju is the main card that I care about in this matchup. Shark Typhoon is pretty slow, and this matchup's not really about incremental 1/1s. This is one of my big hits for Fetch Quest. If I Fetch Quest and whiff ever, that's going to suck a lot. I do think Shark Typhoon is the worst card here, though. Either that or one of the Growth Spirals. Actually, I think it is Spiral against Amulet. We don't need to ramp that hard. We just need to be alive when we get to whatever we're going to do. All right, we got the Raccoon. I'm going to keep. I have the Dress Down. That's at the floor. That is Fog, Time Walk, Stifle against Amulet. At the ceiling, they die. A fetch land's rolling off. I love hitting land drops when I'm holding a Growth Spiral. Defense Grid. Disappointing. Okay. Powerful stuff. Breeding Pool tapped. And I guess I just play my Bramble Familiar here. That sets me up the best for the future. There it is. I know they can tutor Amulet this turn, and if they mulliganed into a hand that has a turn 3 Goldfish under Defense Grid, good job. I'm not beating that. Next turn, I'll have Channel Otawara available under the Defense Grid with the extra mana from the Raccoon. Or I could draw Release to the Wind and win the game under their Defense Grid. Anything could happen. I could have also Dressed Down in my own end step, and then Dress Down's around for their whole turn and stops the worst stuff that could happen. I think developing the Raccoon at this point is better. A basic Forest, Dryad, and pass without a land drop. My goodness. That's not what you wanted to do. I'm going to Growth Spiral and then Brazen Borrow the Dryad. Spiral hits a land, hit my actual land drop, fetch for an island, fetch for a forest, bounce this thing that you just spent mana to cast and didn't actually use. Ooh. They have some land from Kaldheim. Sacrifice Litjara Mirror Lake. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it enters onto the battlefield with an additional +1 counter, activate as a sorcery. Okay. They did find a land, which they did not have last turn. Or it chose not to use last turn for reasons that belong only to the Amulet player. Fae of Wishes. What can I do with that on a fair situation? I mean, I could grab Jace Wielder and just start grinding. If they're farting around over there, that's not that bad. I can play Hullbreaker Horror next turn. Just down and dirty. There it is. I could Fae for Engineered Explosives, which could kill Dryad, Defense Grid, or Amulet next turn. I think I want Jace Wielder. Granted, grab that Jace, play the Misty Rainforest. I'm not sure if this is the turn for end step Dress Down. I feel like they're sputtering and not really succeeding, but I also want to make sure I don't just die. So I will dress down. I'll take the cantrip here. Just hit a land with that. Vesuva enters as my breeding pool. Okay. That's their one land drop for turn because of dress down. The One Ring. Okay, that card's pretty powerful. Might as well get your attack for 2 in. And I hit Shark Typhoon here. I have to mill myself with Jace. I could also just shove Hullbreaker Horror. 7 mana, here it is. And then try to stabilize on the following turn. I hate them drawing a million cards here. Hullbreaker is bigger than Primetime, though. If I play Jace Wielder, or no, this taps, so this is actually a 3 mana play. It would cost 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I can do this. I could play Jace Wielder and bounce my Bramble Familiar. Okay, it's Jace time. Or I could hold up Shark Typhoon plus Otawara. That's got to be safer. Okay. It's Shark Typhoon or Otawara here. And if they just don't present something I need to interact with, I will bounce my Bramble Familiar, untap, and go on a fetch quest. A Ring draws 2. Selesnia's Sanctuary does achieve Primeval Titan, if they have one. They are doing the thing here. Second defense grid. Okay, just making sure. Nothing I was planning on doing this turn it cares about defense grid. Arboreal Grazer. Puts in Selesnia's Sanctuary again. Primeval Titan. Gonna resolve. Otawara, take the wheel. Okay, they got Haste Land and Valakut. They're going face with the Valakut triggers, alright? When they try to give the Primetime Haste is when I go to bounce it. Or I guess having Haste doesn't matter. When we go into combat is when I do this. Start a combat, Otawara. Boing. That was land number 7, though, that I needed for the Bramble Familiar. Oh, okay. That's actually awkward. Now I need to draw a land. I can still bounce the thing and try to draw a land. I think I'm supposed to do this, yeah. Block. Okay, and then 1, 2, tap this, discard a card, bounce it. I'll lose the Shark Typhoon. This lets me draw a land, and I can still escape it to the wind if that's what I draw, so this just gives me the most options right now. But I do have to draw one of those things. Come on, deck. Land, 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 land. Land. Oh no, the science. Oh shit. Well, now I probably lose. Yeah, they just primetime me again. I thought I had everything figured out. I forgot that Otawara is also my land drop. It's okay. Is there any out here? If Waterlogged Grove draws a card, I don't have enough to bring to light. Dang. I think I'm going to whiff after all that. All right, you mill 2 and I draw a card. The land was the next card down. That's going to be too late. Yeah, they just primetime me next turn. Okay, GG. Dynamic stuff. Missed by one draw there. That was fun. I don't think I want Evacuation in the main deck, though it is pretty spicy versus what they try to do. But if I have 5 mana, I feel like I should be trying to win the game with it, not Fog. Yeah, same deck. Let's go. Maybe I was supposed to get Time Warp with that Bay of Wishes and just focus on moving my game plan forward. Because I passed the turn without using Jace Wielder. If I had Time Warped, I would have been 1 card deeper in the deck, and it would have been the breeding pool, assuming the same game plays out the same way. Yeah, maybe just Time Warping is better. But if they were kind of stumbling at the time, and sticking a Planeswalker when your opponent's stumbling is usually backbreaking, I'm not going to feel too bad about that. On the play for game 3, and I have turn 1 Preordain. I got that dog in me. I'm going to keep. I don't think my opponent has seen a Release to the Wind yet, which is the primary combo of the deck. I hope to Preordain into 1 and just Goldfish them on turn 3. Having an Omniscience in my hand means there's fewer in my deck. That's just math. Preordain, Release to the Wind, there it is. Bottom that Hullbreaker Horror. Oh, maybe I wanted that. No, it's fine. Keep the release. I actually have turn 3 Goldfish here, or at least turn 3 send it on Bramble Familiar. We don't know yet if that's going to win. Hope I get a turn 3. Opponent has turn 1 Amulet at all times, forever. Going for the win is better than holding up a Seiju here, I think. They do have a Growth Chamber. How bad's it going to get? Dryad. Are they going to trickle their way up with Arboreal Grazers and stuff? Okay, they're just holding up Forest and passing the turn. Well, I mean, it's party time. I'm going to release my Raccoon to the wind and hope to hit an Omniscience. Cast Fetch Quest. Oh no, I've whiffed entirely. Son of a biscuit, not even a Shark Typhoon here. Wow. All right, well, I can put a land into play, which represents Boseiju. That might be better than Bramble Familiar. I think I get Island, play Waterlogged Grove, and at least I'm showing Boseiju here. That was disappointing. I'm going to let Saga happen. This Boseiju is mostly pointed at the Dryad. They're going to have 6 mana anyway. Does this even matter? Yeah, giving them another land drop shouldn't matter here. I have to pick off a tech land that comes out of the prime time. Summoner's Pact, there it goes. And me without a dress down. Dress down just solos this game here. They might go for Cultivator Colossus instead of prime time. Prime time it is. Backup Dryad, shit. Another boat full of mana. They smartly bounce the Forest this time. Primeval Titan, Forest, and 2 mystery cards in the hand. Simic Growth Chamber plus Teleria West. If they get this Teleria West, they have another primetime this turn. This is the Boseiju. I might still lose here, but that was the spot to fight. They're still tapping mana. They just had another primetime in hand the whole time. They got me. Oh, another Teleria West, sure. Okay. I'm dead. I mean, it sucks that we lost, but it was kind of funny to showcase the deck's Goldfish and the deck's fail rate in the same turn. We had the turn 3 shove it and full whiff when the win was right there if we hit an Omniscience. Tough beats. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play for round 2 with a tough 1-lander. This hand is great with 2, but I'm going to mulligan. This is the same thing. I'm going to go again. Mulligan. This deck can win on 3 cards just fine, and I will keep this one, put one with the Multiverse and Awakened Horror away, and let's do it. If I draw a Raccoon next turn, we are just on the turn 3 Goldfish anyway. My opponent in the chat said this isn't Legacy, and I said, or is it? I'm Omniscience gaming over here. Come on, Raccoon off the top. Preordain. That could be anything, even a Raccoon. Preordain plus fetch lands is interesting. You frequently want to fetch first in case you top the cards, but I already know I put 2 cards I don't want on the bottom, and I don't want to shuffle them into my Preordain. I just bottomed to a 5 and a 6 drop and then drew a 6 drop. And I'm not going to fetch because I don't want those cards back in the pool of drawable cards. Dot the Triome. Land is my best draw because it casts Eternal Witness, which is then another land or a Preordain. Come on, land. Oh no. Not that it really needs to be said, but we are experiencing why decks like this are risky. They have 10 drops in them that just don't function if you're not doing the thing, and then last game I did the thing and missed on the 10 drop. It's a tough in these streets. Okay, I found land number 3. I am going to fetch now. Basic Island, and I'm going to play this Eternal Witness. And I think I'd rather have back Preordain than the land, actually. I'm still looking for stuff to do here. Leyline Binding, yeah, they're just like, get out of here. Literally anything, get it out. Teferi resolves. Teferi turns off Bring to Light, just the card doesn't work when you have Teferi in play. Release of the Wind still works because it doesn't make you do it immediately. You could just wait for the stack to be clear and then do it then. Preordain, Boseiju Forest. Boseiju's actually great. Bottom Forest, top Boseiju. I could Boseiju the Leyline Binding and cast Preordain again right now. I'm doing that. I don't like ramping control decks, but I do like having velocity in my combo deck. They got a Sacred Foundry, I got a Preordain. Eternal Witness is not a card that you want to be targeting with Teferi. I actively don't want these cards at this point. Bottom, another Witness. Okay. This looks like Omnath coming down. There it is. The cool thing about this deck is we can go over the top of Omnath. Omniscience tends to do that to people. One Ring, I mean, they're really doing it over there. My version of doing it is more powerful than theirs, but theirs is more consistent. Delighted Halfling, land number 5. Okay. I'm going to play another Witness here and then another Preordain. Preordain, once again. Cast it. Found a dog. Raccoon, sorry. It just looks like a fox. What do you want from me? I'm not a animal scientist. Okay. They have a million cards in their hand, and they have Teferi available. I feel like this is not going to work, but I do have the combo available to me. Right now, I'm hoping they just use a bunch of resources to stabilize the board in a way that taps them low. Ren taking out an Eternal Witness, drawing 2 cards, tap land. And I can't even use Release to the Wind as an instant in response to a removal spell because of Teferi. So I lose this game to any counterspell or removal spell out of a 5-card hand from a control deck. Perfect. I could spend a turn cycling Shark Typhoon, trading with Omnath, or threatening Teferi. I think I just attack Ren and 6 right now. See if they want to interact with my creature. Blocking with Delighted Halfling, okay. Yeah, I can cycle Shark Typhoon, interact with Omnath, and then try to draw out some interaction. And this plan is so much worse because they have the One Ring, and they're just going nuts all the time. They've got a Nissa. This was a card that was in one of Andy's builds of this deck because Bramble Familiar is a raccoon, or is an elemental raccoon. And I replaced that with Brain Delight because I think that's a more reliable way to find the thing and do what you want rather than just tutor a raccoon into your hand. Okay, Omnath gets the mana trigger. Nissa gets the tutor and elemental trigger. Another Omnath in hand. They're attacking. I'm going to present my combat trade here. Dress down. Not super helpful. I will block, though. And then if they play the other Omnath now, they only have 1 mana to interact with on my turn, which they understand and are appropriately not doing it. Growth Spiral. I mean, I could Brazen Borrow Teferi and see what they want to do about that. I think I'm supposed to Growth Spiral first. See if I draw Veil of Summer, make a future plan. Bay of Wishes. What do you do? Explosives on 3, clears Teferi. I think wishing for Flusterstorm is no good. I'm going to Petty Theft Teferi. He's been in play for like 150 turns, hasn't drawn a card yet. Okay, that cleared out. Not that it matters much. I can dress down on their turn, though, which makes all their creatures worse. Drawing with the ring up to 10 cards. And I'm going to dress down now before they can make a land drop and cash out Nissa. Land number 7, now I can just fetch quest straight up. I don't need to risk the release. Prismatic Ending, okay. That's an interactive spell used. Omnath is in there. Draw back up to 10 cards in hand. Land's going crazy here. We know they're holding Teferi. Fetch land makes the mana and tutors an elemental. Nissa hit another Nissa. It can tutor an elemental or an elf, and they hit the backup elf. One shot that I do reasonably have here is if I fetch quest, hit an Omniscience, and then play Omniscience with the priority I get, then they have to answer 2 Omnisciences to beat me. That's 2 Presagers, 2 Leyline Bindings. They didn't leave up blue at all, so Counterspell is not their plan. Interact is their plan. Okay, I mean, I have a shot here. I guess they could have Force of Negation, but I'm still gonna send it on big Rocket Raccoon here. All right, please don't whiff. I've worked so hard. Fetch quest. What's happening? Green, white. Reprieve! Oh no! Alright, I thought I had them. Okay, they got me. Flusterstorm, Spell Pierce seem good here. Ring Delight is too risky against the Teferi deck. Veil of Summer doesn't stop Reprieve. I don't know if they're going to have Dovin's Vetoes and counterspells. They might. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to cut the Dress Downs and the Bring Delights for more cheap interaction and try it like that. A Bramble Familiar in my hand, I'm going to keep. That improves my top decks dramatically. And I have the Spell Pierce. I can, if I find a release, I can pop on turn 2 or turn 3 with Spell Pierce backup. And I am going to play the fetch land because I have enough lands here. Tap to Breeding Pool. Ooh, Preordain. Okay. If I Preordain here, I can set up an off-curve line that holds up Spell Pierce throughout. I think that's better than just trying to shove my dog, or my Raccoon, into open mana, or open interaction. Maybe I'm supposed to play Waterlogged Grove there and not give away that I have 1 mana interaction. Maybe I didn't want that Ottawara either. Delighted Halfling, cool. Now I can't counter their spells ever again. The removal is not legendary, though. Play Ottawara, play Bramble Familiar. I can't Spell Pierce, or Teferi is legendary removal. Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending are not legendary. It's probably the Ring. They have 4 mana here. Yep. Can't counter that. Come on, Release to the Wind right now. Release that wind. Waterlogged Grove. I can draw a card off Waterlogged Grove here. And if it's Release to the Wind, I can still send it. Beseiju. Okay. Not helpful. Attack. That is something that this card does. Believe it or not. There is power and toughness printed on there. They've activated the Ring. This is going to bury me quickly. Shocknet Sacred Foundry. Legendary spell. Teferi will immediately blank half my hand. Cool. That happened. Bounce my Raccoon. And then resolve a spell. Yep. It's going bad. This Delighted Halfling really collapsed my whole plan of keep them off balance with cheap interaction. I guess I just keep sending the Raccoon out there until it doesn't work, or until I'm actually dead. It's already not working. Evoking Solitude. Yeah, that sets me back pretty far. Can't activate it in response because it's summoning sick. Another Ring. Just trying to make sure they don't die to their own Ring damage here, which is my only plan to win the game. I'll fetch the Watery Grave in the end step. It's basically just an island, but let's make my opponent think about stuff. Another Raccoon has arrived. 4, 5, 6. I have access to 7 mana here over the next 3 turns, just hitting my land drops fair and square. At some point, I can play a fetch quest. I think that is the way to go from here. And they're back to fearlessly activating the Ring. Nissa is here now. Now they have an engine online. I can Ottawara Teferi and Spell Pierce a spell this turn. A line does exist. Nissa just found another Solitude. Delighted Halfling resolves. Veil of Summer, again, does not stop Reprieve. I will play this Beseiju, though. They're making land drops, burying me with Nissa. They don't have a ton of pressure yet. They haven't found an Omnath. They're about to dig up another Elemental or Elf, though. Hit the backup Nissa. A whiff. Ren goes infinite ultimate next turn. Feels like infinite. And they're once again chaining rings together to try to be alive. Nissa is attacking me. I hope to draw a land that's not Ottawara here. I would love to put Fetch Quest on the stack without having to legend roll one of my lands to do it. Release to the Wind. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I can do an end step Ottawara Clear Teferi, untap, Release to the Wind with Veil of Summer protection. Spell Pierce is... the boat has sailed on that. I was hoping the Spell Pierce would clip the Ring or the Wren and they wouldn't be able to get to this endgame, but they have achieved the endgame. Ultimating Wren here. Okay, there's currently no instant or sorceries in the graveyard. That doesn't mean there won't be soon. If they start just bolting me out, they might win this turn. Wren in 6. Another one. Now I know whatever spell they have, they will have at least 2 of it. The Delighted Halfling attacking is a mana they don't have. which might come up if I get to double Spell Pierce them. They bounce to Fairy in the end step, which means they also have to discard an extra card. Discarded Solitude. Yeah, they're not worried about anything here. Veil of Summer doesn't even help. Spell Pierce doesn't help. I think I'm just going to cast Bramble Familiar and then pass. If I can successfully escape it to the wind, that's half the battle. Like if they go for removal first. Okay, release this to the wind in response to the removal spell. They still have so much mana that I can't Spell Pierce or Reprieve. All right, I'm dead. Yeah, that was a brutal, specifically the Delighted Halfling kicking all of their engines into play and then me rotting with my Spell Pierces. This matchup feels horrendous. Yikes. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. I'm on the draw for round 3. I have Release. I don't have a Raccoon. This is the type of hand that could just freaking die in a modern match. I'm going to mulligan. Here we go. Keep this bottom in Omniscience. It's weird to have 2 Bring Delights, but it is more important to have a density of Omnisciences in the deck if you hit them. Opponent is on Yawgmoth, okay. This is a matchup that we can go over top of if we can make it happen. Young Wolf. Like I can sequence in a way where Grist doesn't mess up my combo. If they stick a Yawgmoth, they're doing their thing anyway. I'm going to Growth Spiral now in case I hit a Preordain. All right. Hit a land. And I'm not going to fetch because I actually do want to draw lands. They're attacking me with their Young Wolves and missing a land drop. Okay. I like that. As sportingly as possible. I love when my opponent misses its land drops. And then I hit 2 in the same turn. I can Bring Delight next turn. I'm ready. Ready to pop. They might have a Boseiju in their hand, but would they sandbag Boseiju for interaction over actually hitting a land drop? I doubt it. Delighted Halfling. Reading Pool tapped. And I get to send it here. Hope I hit. Bramble Familiar. Fetch Quest. Come on, Omniscience. Omniscience found. Let's go. Shark Typhoon without paying its mana cost. And I don't have the infinite here, but I do have a lot of good stuff. Okay. I can play another Fetch Quest, which makes a 7/7. If I hit Eternal Witness here, I can go off. Okay, Eternal Witness was found. Eternal Witness gets back Hullbreaker Horror from my graveyard, and now I'm infinite if they don't have a removal spell. Okay, Petty Theft, your Delighted Halfling, which will also bounce my Eternal Witness. Okay, they've seen enough. Heck yeah. Raccoon stuff. Subtlety and Endurance I both like versus Yogg. They are a Thoughtseize deck, and they do have black removal. I think my goal is to just send it against them. I don't like Dress Down. I like Dress Down against Yogg, don't get me wrong. I recognize this is a creature combo deck. What I don't like about Dress Down is how defensive it is when I'm really just trying to blast them with an Omniscience. If I keep 1 Veil and cut Veil, Dress Down, Growth Spiral, I get my 4 sideboard cards that I like. The Pitch Elementals that can slow down their fastest draws. Give me a little more interaction. Let's do it. Gonna mulligan this 1-lander. This is also a 1-lander, but it has 2 Preordains, so that's a different thing. I'm gonna bottom Veil of Summer. I don't think that's gonna be what I need here. Ancient Tomb, Ignoble Hierarch, or Overgrown Tomb, whatever this tomb is. The tomb that's legal in this format and played in this deck. Preordain. I will take land number 3. I don't want land number 4. I've got this Bramble buddy here. Wall of Roots resolves. Strangleroot Geist resolves. Taking some damage. Backup Raccoon. That means I can play one of them fearlessly. I was probably going to play it anyway, but with a little bit of fear. Then with 4 mana next turn, I can Preordain and then Release to the Winds if I find one. with the 4 mana I have. Okay, I probably have to Subtlety this Yogg. And I'm going to pitch Hullbreaker Horror to do it, because the Preordain is my best chance to actually win the game next turn. Okay, that's gone. I need a Release to the Winds in the top 4 cards in my deck right now. Taking another 3. Otawara. I could hide behind Otawara for a turn. It would give me another turn. If I... Or no, they have 6 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they have 5 mana. If they play a land, then Otawara... I guess Otawara... No, it doesn't matter. Alright, yeah, I got a Preordain. I was thinking if I could bounce the Yogg in response to them sacking Strangleroot Geist, but then they could sack Wall of Roots to finish my Bramble Familiar, and then I don't have a plan. I'll just draw the Release of the Wind. How about that? Bottom, top, and do I want to fetch? What if I put to the bottom of the deck? I don't think I want to fetch. I'm just going to play Otawara and send this Raccoon into the winds. We're in the wind. Fetch quest. I hit Omniscience, which can play another fetch quest, which does need to hit here. I found a Hullbreaker Horror, who does not win the game on his own, but he is very powerful. And Omniscience does read spells from your hand, so I can't just Bramble Familiar them out of the game right now. And that was a big turn, but using the Subtlety to be alive was tough on my resources, and I didn't have spells to clear their board now. I would hate to see Grist here. I would also hate to see a second Undying creature. We know they're drawing the Yogg that they put on top of their deck last turn, and then they have whatever their last 2 cards in hand are after that, that they didn't use 1 mana on last turn when they could. They have the Grist. Okay. That was disappointing. 1 spell short of stability. I guess maybe that's not even true. Yeah, what was I actually looking for there? I actually had to hit Eternal Witness into Hullbreaker Horror. Even that's not enough, though. Yeah, I was just a full spell short, even on what... Like, I hit everything I wanted to hit. Eternal Witness now is pretty good. They did just pass the turn into my Omniscience. Oh no, something's happening. It's a Chord for 1. What 1-drop kills me here? Haywire Might? Did they use their Wall of Roots already? Nope. Okay. Yep, that works. Techie and annoying. I drew a Release to the Wind. I mean, I'm just going to cast my 2 Bramble Familiars, and I can try to release them next turn. And I am going to cast both of them. Grist, mill to land. We know there's a Yogg in the hand. They could sack their whole board to kill my Familiars. They could just leave 2 creatures in play, and then I can't Release to the Wind. Okay, they're sacking their creatures to make their Geist smaller, then sacking the Geist to make my creatures smaller. This sees the most cards while also stopping me from doing stuff. Shocked in an Overgrown Tomb. Any creature is devastating here. And their deck's full of them. Yep, that is the worst one. And now they're just teasing me by passing. They know there's very little I can do here. Oh no. Alright. I'm not... Is there anything to send it on here? No, there's not. Alright. Okay, we did pretty much the thing. It just wasn't quite good enough. A little short on resources when the chips were down to actually... Like, I think if I have 1 more spell there to keep things going... Okay, same deck. Let's go. This is exciting. Even if we're not winning, it is exciting. I'm going to switch one of the Endurances to another Veil of Summer. If I end up in a spot like I just did, where Grist kills something essential, or Yawgmoth just checkmates my creatures because it can kill them in response to my combo, I feel like Veil, it might be better than I gave it credit for. This hand, I mean, Omniscience is a pretty free pitch to Subtlety, and Veil insulates versus Thoughtseize effects. And holding the Release, I'm looking for a Raccoon. I'm going to try this. It can slow down their Goldfish or slow down their interaction, both of which are things that are useful to me. I hope they just Thoughtseize me on turn 1. That would be the best outcome here. They're just passing, it seems. I'm going to fetch a Breeding Pool. The Seiju, that's land 4. If they wait around too long, I'm going to hardcast the Subtlety at some point. Twilight Mire. gonna fetch again. Orcish Bowmaster. I don't think I care about that enough to Veil of Summer it. No, that's not what Veil of Summer's in the deck for. This is where I draw Preordain and immediately regret this, but I still think protecting my combo is more important than protecting against a Preordain. A Fae of Wishes, that's the dub if I can get my pieces together here. They're fetching land number 3. Wall of Roots, okay. Another Bowmaster, that's also fine. I can also release to the wind their Orc army if it gets too big and it's just gone. I don't want to do that, obviously. But I'm holding out here, holding out hope. I'm going to get the Watery Grave, just put some fear into them. What's that for? You may never know. Play Beseiju. Now I have multiple pieces of interaction available. I am in a tough spot, though, where I need both a land and a specific payoff. I don't even have 5 mana to execute my combo all at once if I wanted to. And I need 6 if I want a Veil of Summer over it. Also, knowing that their deck has Haywire Might in it and they could Court of Calling for it at will makes Omniscience a little dicey. But if I could get one Omniscience into play, I can cast this one with my priority and then they need to deal with 2 of them. I'm taking 4 here. If they do like anything, I'm going to Subtlety it. If they don't do anything, I'll bounce their Orc army with Brazen Borrower. Okay, end step, Petty Theft to the Orc army. They're fetching in the end step now. I wonder if this is a Court of Calling or they wouldn't need to fetch to Endurance. Just a tap land. Okay. There's that boy. I guess I have to play it. I can protect it from most of the removal that they play, at least as far as I know. And I can pitch Omniscience to Subtlety if I need to. I don't really want to, but it's there if I need it. Looks like they have a Chord for X = 1. That's going to resolve. Haywire Might. That does not beat my setup right now. It does beat my setup if I have to pitch Omniscience to Subtlety this turn. Alright, I'm going to Veil of Summer the Thoughtseize, which also turns off Grist for the turn. Their Bowmaster's trigger, but they can't target me or my creatures. Just putting some damage on Wall of Roots. That's fine, that's what it's there for. Okay, I do have to Subtlety this, and I have to pitch Omniscience to do it. Sucks to suck. What happens if I pitch Fae of Wishes instead? Okay. If I hit Omniscience, because they have Wall of Roots here, which represents green for the Haywire Might. If they pass with Yogg, yeah, this has to be interacted with. Do I think the game will go better for me if I have 2 Omnisciences in play and no real plan, or if I have a Wish right away? Granted is a sorcery. If this was Cunning Wish, I could do some cool stuff over the top of Haywire Might, but that's not where we are. And they can just wait until I target with Release to the Wind. They don't need to start yogging right now. Alright, I think the game is better for me if I have access to Omniscience after the Haywire Might. I could just rip a Cantrip here, I could rip an Eternal Witness here. There's good stuff I could draw, as long as I can still do the thing I'm supposed to be doing. Hey! Okay, now I actually have to hit a... actually hit the card. Alright, release this to the wind. If I find an Omniscience, we're cooking. If they have Dismember in their hand, we lose. Okay, fetch quest. Let's find one. Hullbreaker Horror. Okay, that one, it's not Omniscience, but it's good. I can play Bramble Familiar and bounce something now. Or I can use Brazen Borrower to bounce their Yogg when they cast it next turn and just leave this huge booty in play. That's what I'm going to do. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. What does that do? It does make my Eternal Witness loop worse, but it is not currently messing me up. Blood Artist. If they attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 gets through, I block, I go to 4. Do I have to save this Brazen Borrower for Yawgmoth? I think that I do. It's the only instant I have access to. Unfortunately, I boarded in that second Veil of Summer, so I can't Fae of Wishes for Veil of Summer next turn. If I draw a land, I could Fae of Wishes for Dress Down, which is insane on multiple fronts. Okay, yeah, I don't need to interact with this right away. I could even just play the Brazen Borrower and bounce that if I need to. It's not like Yogg that immediately takes over when it resolves. And there's one card left in hand, that's Yogg. Now I have perfect information to work with, at least for this turn cycle. They are just bashing. I'm going to block a Bowmaster, and they're just letting combat damage happen now. This is 3-4, I go to 4. I could play Brazen Borrower now and not go to 4. That does use the instant. I think I'm going to go for it here. Just go for stabilization. Bounce Orc Army. They're exiling my Eternal Witness to give certainly this Bowmaster +1. And I end up taking 3 this combat. Okay, my best draw is definitely an untapped land, preferably pain-free. If I can wish for Dress down here, that's going to be insane. That one's really heckin' good too, though, because I have a Bramble homie right out here. Okay, well, let's send it. Bramble, Elemental, or Familiar. What is this? Familiar. Bounce. Haywire Might. Clearing the runway for Omniscience here. Release to the Wind. Target the Familiar. Horror. Bounce. This Blood Artist, I think, is what I'm most worried about. I get that out of here. And then the Fetch Quest gets to bounce another thing. I think I want to bounce. Is it Soul Cauldron or Wall of Roots? I think it's Wall of Roots. And let's fetch an Omniscience. Ah, we did it. Omniscience into play. Cast the backup Omniscience. Bounce your Soul Cauldron. Fae of Wishes granted. Bounce your stupid Bowmaster. Get everything out of there. Going for the flawless victory. And then I can shared summons, or I could just time warp to win this. Just hit them for 10 twice. That's not sexy. Shared summons. Get another Hullbreaker and or is Hullbreaker milled? I must have milled it. Okay. Eternal Witness and Fae of Wishes. Eternal Witness. And now we're looping. We're going to win a match, folks. We know every card in their hand because they're all permanents that I've bounced this game. I'm going to get back shared summons and just put all the creatures from my deck into play. Just looping Witnesses. I can Bramble Familiar 2 more times. Or Fetch Quest. Get a Subtlety just to make sure I can't lose. I'm going to get back a Shark Typhoon now. I'm just having fun at this point. Shark Typhoon. Cast that. Bounce Eternal Witness. Opponent just asked in the chat if Soulless Jailer works against Fetch Quests. And yes, I believe it does, as long as the permanent I'm returning is in my graveyard. And we got the GGs. They were just waiting for me to answer that question to concede. Cool. We got a match. We did it. On to the next round. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop. On the play for round 4, this hand is not keepable, just all payoffs, no setup, mulligan that. I'll keep this. I'm going to bottom the Hullbreaker Horror and just do some preordained stuff. Breeding Pool, preordained, keep. How many lands do I actually want here? I think the answer is 0. Bottom, bottom. Dress down, okay. Wooded Foothills. Forest. Search for Tomorrow. This is actual factual Valakut. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Yeah, I could Beseiju that Valakut now, but I don't think that's actually helpful. Yeah, I need this Beseiju to be able to land, and then I can Eternal Witness back preordain. Try to get my combo together. This does appear to be just proper scape shift. And if that's the case, it's going to be mostly just a race. And I'm not currently in a good position to race. This hand is not developed into A or B. None of the stuff in my sideboard specifically answers Valakut either. Ren and 6, and they went for the land rather than killing Eternal Witness. Makes sense. Ren doesn't die to Eternal Witness anyway. Cinderglade, Farseek. They're just doing it over there. Jetmir's Garden. Another Beseiju. That's not the land I was looking for. Preordain. Okay. Bottom the land. Top the Raccoon. play the Raccoon, attack Ren for 2, and cross my fingers, hope I'm not dead, and hope that Release of the Winds is on top of my deck. Ren picked up Wooded Foothills. Dryad, ugh. Oh, they can immediately Wrath my board. Okay. I can't win now. Yeah, this was just a race, and I stumbled. I didn't know the matchup when I kept the hand, and that made everything worse. The Spell Pierces and Flusterstorms come in here. The Dress Downs come out. Veil of Summer comes out. I will attack basically any ramp piece with these. Anything to buy time on my way up the chain. Beseiju, we did see Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I think it's better to still just try to go over the top of all that. And this is my plan. Just change the interaction based on the fact that we're in a foot race matchup. Okay, I have all of it here. I have the turn 3 Goldfish. Let's see if they could keep up. I have Eternal Witness and a Cantrip. Those are good starts to the chain. We did, unfortunately, get far enough last game for them to see the Bramble Familiar and probably deduce that I'm doing something unfair. Preordain, Spell Pierce. Bottom this Omniscience for sure. I'll top the Spell Pierce. Putting Omniscience to the bottom is tough. That's almost the same as it being in my hand as far as how likely I am to hit it. Alright, I'll run out the Familiar and hope they don't bolt it. Just play Farseek or Ren in 6 or some shit I don't care about. That's what I need right now. Cool. There's Ren in 6. Moment of truth. Release to the Winds. My sweet Raccoon. Gotta hit the Omniscience here. Fetch Quest. Shark Typhoon. Bay of Wishes. I guess I bring back Shark Typhoon. And hope they don't have a Beseiju. It's weird that I'm disappointed I have Shark Typhoon in play. If they don't Beseiju it right away, this could do stuff. But if they do Beseiju it right away, I'm in trouble. Plains, why? Are they going to Leyline Binding this thing? This 5-color Scape Shift? Tied together by Dryad? There's the Dryad. There's a fetch land. Okay, I drew a land. That's cool. Now I at least have Spell Pierce available. And I think what I want to do here is just pass with Growth Spiral Spell Pierce available. I can make a surprise 2/2, and if they cast a spell, I have a chance of countering it. And if Growth Spiral hits a green source, I could Growth Spiral again. They fetched a Cinderglade, played Wooded Foothills, Dwarven Mine. Oh no, are we suddenly also creativity? That sucks. Picked a land up. Sentinel of the Nameless City. When this enters the battlefield or attacks, create a map token. Okay, that's a cool card. Vintage Cube special. Map token is in. Dwarf token is going to explore. It sees Stomping Grounds and puts that in the hand. I think I do Growth Spiral now, because if I hit the green source, I could kill the Dryad. And it doesn't affect my ability to Spell Pierce. Bummer. Okay. I will just take 2 then. 1 with the Multiverse. That's a hard one to get into play. Yeah, if the top of my deck was 2 lands, I could bring to light for a Bramble Familiar here, and unfortunately that's not available to me. I do have Fluster and Spell Pierce now, which might be enough to gang up on a Scape Shift or Creativity. Those don't help me hit my land drop for next turn, though. Ren picked up Wooded Foothills. We know there's a Stomping Ground in hand. They can attack for 6 here. I'm at 9. If they have a Valakut, I'm dead. That's 9. Wish. You may play a card you own from outside the game this turn. That might just get a Valakut. So if I Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm, they can't pay for all of it. If I Growth Spiral first, then that would cost 3. Yeah, I actually do have to Pierce and then Fluster in that order. Them sandbagging multiple land drops like this into soft permission, they're wishing for Valakut. I wish I knew if the top card of my deck was a land, if I could have Growth Spiraled into Flusterstorm there. That's so much better. And sets up the possibility of Bring to Light next turn. But I just have to cling to life here and hope I get another turn. That's a Windswept Teeth we had not seen. We saw Wooded Foothills. Yeah, we saw that and Stomping Ground. The map, they are going to explore. They found another Ren in 6. Bay of Wishes, not helpful here. I think I'm just going to Growth Spiral and hope that there's a land there or a Preordain, like something to do. I need to get this Bring the Light on the stack. I can't hold out much longer. Drew an Omniscience, sick. Okay, that's not what I wanted. And I just have to hold back blockers and hope they don't have a Valakut. Ever. Oh, Scape Shift, cool. Yeah, we're super dead. All right. They got me. Hit the fail rate. Missed on an Omniscience. We did Bramble once, and we actually had multiple turns to try to make something happen. It's turn 6. I have 3 lands in play. If I hit my land drop this game, we Bring to Light into Fetch with Shark Typhoon in play. That's 12 flying. And then whatever happens under the Fetch is gravy there. Yeah, that was just, again, fail rates occur. This is not a deterministic engine, even if you hit it. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play for the final round, I keep hands with Preordain. I'm in. This is not only Preordain, but Eternal Witness can pick up the Preordain, and then we see more cards. Just the fair grind that becomes unfair at some point. Opponent mulled to 4. What are they up to over there? Dredge technically exists in the format. I will take this Fae of Wishes. If they mull to 4 just to grief scam me, I mean, that's all of their cards and all of my spells. There's a Saga. Are we Hammer? Or are we Amulet? Saga pass. I'm going to play Breeding Pool tapped. And pass here. Another Saga. This feels like Amulet. I drew another Breeding Pool. I'm going to pick up the Preordain. This did not go how I wanted. All of my draws this game have been lands. It's okay. Let's see what's going on over there. I do have Dress Downs in my deck if they are Amulet. Yep, Amulet confirmed. How good was this 4-card hand? Do you have Bounce Land into Dryad into kill me right now? A third Saga. And making a construct. Okay. Brazen Borrower gives me some freedom here to dig for a Dress Down. I was worried that I might have to just hold up Otawara. Familiar. Yeah, I'll keep that. Put it on top. I am untapping into 5 mana starting next turn, which means that if I draw Release to the Winds at any point, I can do stuff. They tutored a second Amulet. Terrifying. Could just die here. A single bounce land represents Primeval Titan from this position. Mycosynth Gardens. Yikes. And making a construct. Okay. Okay. I don't mind the beatdown mode. I could Brazen Borrow this, take the pressure off. Yeah, I'll have Otawara starting next turn if I don't draw the Release or a Bring to Light. I did not draw the Release or Bring to Light. I'm going to play Waterlogged Grove as a redraw, and I have this Otawara to survive a turn. They either don't have the bounce land or don't have the prime time, because they could have sent it last turn. Amulet number 3. This Multifor is really doing stuff here. Second Mycosynth Gardens. Please just have 5 amulets in play and pass the turn. Sick. 4 amulets. I'm just going to take 5 here. I like Eternal Witness being in play for Hullbreaker Horror considerations. I'm going to draw with Waterlogged Grove. Fae of Wishes. Cast Brazen Borrower. Might as well. How about Release? Escape. What is this card called? Release. Boseiju does interact. Kinda. Actually, Boseju's straight up nutso here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm so close to just fetch questing here. I wonder if I'm even supposed to play the familiar out. Fae of Wishes does not do anything important at this time. Yeah, I guess I just cast the Bramble familiar. Hold up Boseiju because they're on such thin resources that if they play a tap land, I can Boseiju it in response to the 4 untap triggers. And then they'll have 2 mana instead of 9. Okay, here we go. Let's test my theory. Was this good enough? Boseiju the Growth Chamber. I guess they could get like Temple Garden, choose to have it come into play tapped, and then still get 5 mana. Doesn't seem like that's available to them. And they still have to bounce a land. Sick. Or I guess, yeah, it just says return a land. It doesn't say, or sacrifice this. There's no condition. They can't just decline. Arboreal Razor, shit. If they have another Karu right now, the forest comes in tapped. They can get 4 mana on it. That is 5, but not 6 here. The One Ring, I mean, that card's pretty good, but it's not Primeval Titan. They can attack me for 6. I'm still not blocking. I want the wind. Release me to the wind. Omniscience. I'm so close to just casting that. A Fae of Wishes just doesn't play here either. Attack. Oh, they have protection. This attack was pointless. Maybe they'll block. And my creature doesn't block either, so it's fine. Okay, I'm worried. They get to draw 2 cards here. I can Otawara a Primetime and block bounce with my Bramble Familiar. Then if I draw a land, I can fetch quest. I have enough mana to play it whenever. They copied my breeding pool, getting a bunch of amulet stuff going. 5 cards in their hand. Primeval Titan resolves, much to my misery. With 4 amulets, they could just get a Simic Growth Chamber and a Teleria West and just send multiple Primetimes in right now. The second Primetime can get all the haste cards, and then they'll untap so many times that both Primetimes can attack. Yep, that is regrettably what's happening. And no Dress Down this game, no Release to the Wind. Saw a lot of cards. I'm more than a quarter of the way through my deck, including everything I scried to the bottom, which was everything I saw, I think. Oh, they just had one. Okay. They had multiple Primetimes in hand, didn't even need to channel for an out. And I have to fetch to bounce my Raccoon, which means I can't ignore any of these. Yeah, and they've got 2 of them. All right, fine. Just mull to 4, watch them slowly grind their way back into advantage as I draw nothing. Sucks to suck. Okay, Veil of Summer comes out, and a Growth Spiral comes out. This is what I'm doing. I don't think it's right to fight over the amulets with something like Engineered Explosives. I'm not trying to Spell Pierce them. I'm just trying to go faster. Okay, I've got the Raccoon. I've got a Preordain to look for something to do with the Raccoon. Preordain, show me the Release to the Winds. Otawara Preordain. Bottom Otawara, keep the backup Preordain. With 3 lands lined up here, I could play Bramble Familiar next turn, and then I'll have 4 mana because it's a mana dork. On turn 3, then I can Preordain again if I need to get more looks. Boseiju pass from the opponent. Boseiju of my own. Raccoon. There's a Saga. Defense Grid. Okay. Another opponent. Amulet opponent bringing in Defense Grid. Growth Spiral. Not helpful. I'm going to bottom both of these. Bottom. Come on, release. Well, guess I just bash for 2 then. I could bounce the Defense Grid now with Brazen Borrower. I don't think I actually want to do that, though. There's so many bad cards on the bottom of my deck from the 2 Preordains that I don't even want to fetch. Radiant Fountain. Subtlety. I can pitch cast this. I can also Boseiju Defense Grid. Making a construct. Making another construct. Okay. I'm going to fetch so I don't get cheesed by a Pithing Needle. I don't know if that's a card they're going to have, but I'm not going to get cheesed by it. And I have 4 mana up. Oh no, that costs 5. Dang it. Briefly forgot how Defense Grid works. Okay, they have 1 tap land here. Second Defense Grid. All right, glad I didn't fight over the first one. I think I want to Boseiju Amulet here. That's just less damage that I take. Yeah, if I had fetched a basic, I was going to Brazen Borrow the construct. But, whoops, that's not how that works at all. Come on, release. Fae of Wishes. They can get nothing useful. Or it can get Engineered Explosives. That's actually pretty useful. Never mind. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. Yeah, I'm going to cast Granted, get Engineered Explosives, play Boseiju as my land, Explosives for 0. And I think I just pop this now. There's no zeros I'm waiting for them to play. 1 ring resolves. I can still go Infi, just looking for that hit here. Bring to light. Release to the winds. It all works. Otawara, the double defense grid. Just, I'm playing on my own turn here, is what it is. I don't really want to Fae for Jace. I think that's just way too slow. I can pitch cast Subtlety and pay 6 for the pleasure. I guess I'll play Otawara and attack. Attacking so doesn't matter though. Just review my sideboard again. I could Engineered Explosives, try to clear the defense grids in a 2-turn line. I'm not convinced that's better than Jace over 2 turns, if that's what I'm committing to. Alright. Oh wait, no, they just played the ring. There's no reason to attack. At least figured that out. Okay, I am gonna make a wish here, and I guess get Jace. Jace Wielder, play one of the Faes from exile. Once again, hope I'm not dead. All it takes to win here is an Amulet and a tap land and a Prime Time. And with 9 cards in their hand, they could probably figure it out. I hope they can, but it's not rocket science from here. Okay, that's not a tap land. Even if they Prime Time here, there's no Amulet. This is just getting some lands, just value Prime Time. Valakut, Mycosynth Gardens. Yeah, they're setting up a big win for next turn. Hey, deck, how about a freaking Release of the Winds? Oh my god. Alright, I will... If I cycle Shark Typhoon for 0, then Bring to Light is still alive. If I play Jace, I'm only drawing 2. Yeah, Shark Typhoon for 0. Leaves more options on the table. Circling into Release the Winds. Sweet, sweet release. If... Alright, now we got a hit. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Can I find the Omniscience? I hit 2 Eternal Witnesses and a few wishes. God damn. Okay, you got me. Okay, let's review. I think that one of the most important things to do in this deck is balance payoffs that you don't actually want to draw in your hand versus the critical mass of payoffs to actually hit with Bramble Familiar. There are 10 hits in the deck, which is 1 out of every 6 cards, and you see 7 cards off of Bramble Familiar. There are 5 really good hits in the deck, and 4 GG hits in the deck. Unfortunately, we can only play 4 Omniscience. Maybe playing more, one with the Multiverse. Like, maybe these protection spells should actually just be another one with the Multiverse. I had another one of those. I do like Veil of Summer being in the deck somewhere. Maybe the main deck Dress Downs are actually worse than the main deck Veils. Yeah, Dress Down over a Fluster in the sideboard. That gives us something to wish for in those medium spots where you have like 6 mana. Wishing for Dress Down's not that bad. Looking for ways to increase density of hits is kind of tough. Like, maybe Planar Bridge is good enough. It's 6 mana on the front, 8 mana to activate, search your library for a permanent, put it onto the battlefield. It feels bad to hit that, but it is eventually an Omniscience. Another option is the World Spell. It's a 7 mana saga with Read Ahead. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, reveal a non-saga permanent, put it into your hand, are the first 2 chapters, and then chapter 3 is put up to 2 non-saga permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. That one can dig for Omniscience if you don't have it, and it could backdoor into Omniscience from your hand if you do have one. You just go straight to chapter 3, because you can read ahead. I actually think the World Spell is among the best things we can do here. I really wish we could Hypergenesis. That's such a elegant solution to this deck, but okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We are +1 hit for Bramble Familiar. I think that helps a lot, just moving in that direction. We're actually +2 hits, right? Because I added a 1 with the Multiverse over a Veil, and now a World Spell over a Dress Down. You could even go deeper if you want to. You could cut the Veil and the Dress Down or the Brazen Borrowers and just play 4 Bring to Lights and just do a fetch quest early and often. Just maximize for that with no protection. Then put all your protection in the sideboard. There are some matchups like Omnath that you're just never beating if you have no counterplay, but this league we played against 1 deck with counterspells and 4 decks that were just trying to send it, and they just sent it faster than us, or we hit our fail rate, and then they sent it in the dust after we missed. If you want to solve for that, just cut all the interaction, play all 4 Bring Delights, and focus on that. I think this build, with my experience, my 5 matches of experience with the deck, plus my deck building experience in general, I think this is the balance between being able to do the thing most reliably and actually interact with an opponent. Yep, I'm going to leave this here. I'm just staring at it at this point, thinking about everything, but I think I have improved this deck a lot from where I got it, and we improved it again after the league. Just 2 surges forward in technology for Andy here, and then he can continue to develop it from here. Bramble Familiar is fun. Omniscience, of course, insane when you get to go fun Omniscience looping. That's great in any format. 10 mana spell, all your spells are free. Yeah, duh. It's just about executing it quickly and consistently in the powerful modern format. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.